Hello everyone, my name is Sam and welcome to another Becoming Sam episode. Today I'm going to start a whole new realm within my Becoming Sam series where we're going to start a new playlist all about my journey to bottom surgery. I finally feel like I'm ready to talk about it all, and I know that it's useful for other people to have these things out there, so we're going to get this started. It all really started about 2 years ago where I genuinely started considering it, and then a year ago I got referred, so it is all very real for me now, and it definitely takes a lot more of my thoughts and my feelings than it used to, and I think it's worth talking about. So in today's video, I'm actually going to talk just sort of slightly pre-referral stage, a bit about how I was feeling and how I got to a point where I was like, yes, I would like to be referred to bottom surgery. So a little bit of context going back for those of you that may not know, I started testosterone privately. I was going to wait and end up having top surgery with the GIC, but it was all taking too long. I had the funds, and so I got top surgery privately as well. So essentially, by the time I did get into the NHS system, bottom surgery wasn't going to be too far away. They still need to do their assessments, but it essentially meant that by my second appointment with them, I could request my first signature for bottom surgery. With that in mind, that it was coming up so quickly, it was definitely something that had to be on my mind, because it was a decision I had to be making. Now, I knew that I was quite lucky in that I could drag it out slightly, because with bottom surgery, you need 2 signatures. So even if I said that I wanted it in the first appointment, I'd still be waiting at least a year and a half for the second one, and had a while to actually genuinely think about it. With that in mind, I decided that in my first appointment, I was going to be quite honest with the doctor and say that I'm definitely wanting to think about bottom surgery. I said sort of my preferences, what I was thinking, what my priorities were, and that I would like a signature, but that I want to discuss it further in my next appointment. He was pretty happy with that. That's how it all went along, and basically there started a year and a half of genuinely thinking about bottom surgery. Now, it's a really big topic and a lot of people struggle with it. It's very controversial, and sometimes it's hard to say how you're feeling about it without potentially hurting other people's feelings, because people are just have very strong feelings about the matter, and it's completely understandable. It's a big decision, it's very personal, and actually really no one should have to feel the pressure to justify what they are doing with their genitals, and yet it is such a big thing. And people invite themselves into the conversation thinking that they can say what they want, but forgetting that it's a person and their feelings. So of course the big decision is sort of between fallow and between meta, and it is a very, very difficult decision, and I do want to talk a little bit more about how I decided what, maybe in a different episode, but really what I was trying to figure out was, do I want bottom surgery? At least for that first appointment, was do I want it enough to get that first signature? And the answer at the time was, I'm not sure, but yes. Let's go with yes, and then I can think about whether that's a definite later down the line. I knew the way it worked was that if I really wanted to, I could get discharged and then start the process again when I felt ready, but I was scared about the amount of time that would take, and so I thought I'd start it when I did. So a lot of the consideration was just around the amount of surgeries, how much it would be to go through my body, and what my priorities were. The thing is that realistically, of course, I would want phalloplasty because it has, I guess, the most function, to put it that way. You're a bit more likely to make more use of your urethral lengthening if that's what you decide to have, as you're a bit more likely to be able to clear your fly with the extra length that meta doesn't offer, and also with things like sex. Now, it's a very complicated topic. I'm not even going to really delve into the world of aesthetics. I think it's a bit upsetting when you hear people saying, oh, but it doesn't look cis enough or real enough. I'm not going into that world. It's a penis, you know, and everybody's genitals look different, and that is just the reality. And I think what we are used to seeing in porn and what we're used to seeing everywhere, and how we idealize it, especially within the trans mass community, is really, really unhealthy. And it's okay. You can want certain things. You can want your penis to look a certain way, and if you don't think it's going to look that way, then you might not want to take that risk, and that's fine. But actually, what drew me towards meta was not that at all. What drew me towards meta was the fact that over time, and within a relationship too, I just got a lot more comfortable with what I did have, and so I felt like it was worth the fewer operations to just, you know, spice up a little bit what I've got going on there already, and then take things from there, rather than jumping into phalloplasty. So I spent that year and a half, however long it was, basically talking to a lot of my friends, mostly my trans friends, especially transmasculine, about how I'm feeling about it. Another extra layer to all of this is that I don't know a person in my real life, my personal life, not somebody that I've just seen online, who has actually had bottom surgery. Now, I know there are plenty of people who get bottom surgery with the London team, so it's not like it's rare or whatever, but within my friendship group, it's not been a thing yet. To be fair, within my personal friendship group, the person I've known who has been on testosterone the longest and would have been most likely to have, you know, been considering bottom surgery was only about 6 or 7 months ahead of me in terms of transition, and he personally decided not to pursue that path just yet, and that's perfectly fine. With the rest of my friends, I'm generally the one that's sort of taking these steps now, and it can be a little bit isolating when you don't really have someone to talk about it, but I didn't necessarily feel like talking about it with the whole of the internet at the time because it was a big decision and I wanted to make it for myself rather than for comments. I think we'll leave it at that short and sweet little introduction. My second video in my bottom surgery journey is going to be about that second signature appointment that I had with the Charing Cross GIC, how I was feeling at that time, what decisions I had made, and how it all went and transpired out. If you do have any questions or you're having your own thoughts around bottom surgery at the moment, then please do feel free to drop all of that into the comments. I'll have a read through and reply to them. The chances are that when it comes to questions, they probably will be answered in my next videos, as I guess I kept this one quite vague, but I wanted it to be true to the story. At this point of what I'm talking about right now, where I was, that in between the first appointment and second appointment, things were quite vague. I hadn't made big decisions, and that is the journey that I was on. So that's where I want to bring you into that mind frame over here, and more will be revealed over the course of the next few episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.